Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. Today we have a little mystery. Paslode nail gun. This is just a wee heads up on how you normally get stuff like this on. This being a repair shop for power tools, you just get stuff dropped in all the time. This is a common thing you get. Paslode gun dropped in. Nothing on it at all. No name, no number, no description of why it's been left on. This is quite common, especially for Paslode nail guns. Everybody has them. They need regular services, so they do. Wee bits go wrong with them all the time. They always get dropped on for repair. But this is the main culprit, Paslodes, for this problem, because people just generally drop them in, give you no information. So this one's dropped in, no name, no number, no way to contact the person, and he hasn't given any description of why it's been left on. So it's a quick fault finding expedition. It's dropped in as well, without any nails or battery, but that's not a problem. First thing when you get them on, quick wee check over. This is actually coming loose up here. Look. These bolts are coming out, which is not overly dirty. It's greasy, but it's not dirty. I'm saying that. The filter's fairly dirty, so it might actually need a service. And here's not too bad though, and that could be a problem as well. Gas is from 2020. It is now 2024. Paslode guns don't work very well on out of date gas. Which doesn't look too bad. Potentially could be a service. But we'll get some nails in her, get a battery in, give it a test out and see. This metal strip's actually missing here too. Need to replace that. Motor works. I need to replace my nail board. Getting tight for space here. We get them on like this. There's no description of why. You don't know why it's dropped in and it's working. The only thing you have to do, service it. Like I say, they need regular services, so they do. You do it all the time. Generally when somebody drops it in with no description at all, it's just for a service. Nothing else you can do if the gun's working and they haven't told you anything. So if you get them in, you don't know why, test it, and if it's running okay, give it a service. So this is the IM350 Plus. Strip it down, clean it down, re-oil it, put it back together. That's what we're going to do now. Not even that bad. Just fairly clean for Paslode, which is very greasy up here. What else can you do? Service it and get it out the door again. These pins have to be pushed back in order to get this plate and everything off. If they're rusted in like this one, it doesn't come out. All you need is a hammer. Quick wee tap. That's all the clearance you need. So those 3 screws are actually way too loose. pin's very tight. There we go. The rest of it's looking okay. Don't know if that pin has unscrewed a little bit. See if we can tighten that up. Apart from that, it looks alright. Give her a quick clean now. Get her oiled and back together. Now, that's her, nice and clean. Now, because I don't actually know why that was sent in, I'm only guessing it's a service. I'm also going to check this reed valve, just in case it's becoming blocked and it's starting to fire intermittently. Know straight away if there's a big carbon built up and one of the reeds isn't getting fully sealed. This here is a one-way valve. That's the exhaust gas is out and then seals up again to take the pin back. Well, it could well be that. So you can see the nice outline of these teardrop valves. You can see them down here, but you can't see the outline at the top. So they are staying open all the time, especially these two. I would imagine so anyway. Yeah. This may have been an intermittent problem. See the way she's still black here? That's not getting a full seal. That valve doesn't seat correctly. It doesn't make a seal and it doesn't create suction inside the gun. It doesn't take the pin back fully. Might do it sometimes. The odd time the gun might fire and no nail come out. That's because the pin hasn't come fully back enough to shoot, but not back enough to load a new nail. That might have been the problem there. All you need to fix it is a sanding block, or else a bit of wet and dry on something solid. And literally just a little rub, very lightly, to clean the top. You want to keep these nice and flat. Don't want to go sanding them like this and doing it unevenly. Give us a wee blow of the compressor and blow out these two holes as well. Normally you would do that before you service the gun, before you wash it out. I'm only doing this now because I was just checking that just in case. If you do it after you've washed it, the actual grit from the sanding block or sandpaper can break off, get into the chamber. So if you do it afterwards, make sure you blow it out and wipe out the chamber as well, just in case there's any grit, because that will then wear away the aluminium chamber and damage your pin seals. So that's that ready. For this, you need a Stanley knife. That's where these wee tough bolt utility knives come in great. This is the utility scraper. Folds out into a scraper blade. Very handy for this particular little job. Scrape off the excess black carbon buildup. Make sure you don't bend this reed valve. Keep it nice and flat. Scrape off all the excess. Both sides if needed. And your sanding block again. Give it a wee polish up. that's it. Nice and clean. Ready to go. It just sits on top. This wee gauze filter sits at the front. Top plate hooks on underneath and pushes forward. There as well. There's not many places you use Loctite on these guns, but do use Loctite on these here. Get them locked on good and tight. Everything else just needs a nice coat of oil to keep it moving nice and freely. Don't need to flood it. Gas itself has oil inside of it. It'll help keep it lubricated as well. Just make sure you stagger the O-rings to have a good seal. And this piston was actually faulty too. It had started to unscrew. So that would have been adding to the problem of missing nails. The piston's too long. It means it can't get fully back to load the new nail. Basically, instead of sitting here, the nail coming up in front, the piston grows, the new nail can't load because they're sitting on top of the pin. Plus, this reed strip faulty, would have been sitting further up again. So this gun would have had a combination of problems. But hopefully, that should be it sorted now. Stick in your wear plate. This is a steel plate for the actual pin to rub on. If it wasn't there, it would have been rubbing on aluminium. This would wear out fairly quick. Also, if you're going to ever start shooting 2 nails instead of 1, that's your problem. This can wear out and make too big of a gap between the nails and the pin, allowing the pin to actually catch the bottom nail instead of the top one, causing it to fire 2 instead of 1. If that ever happens, just replace that plate. To load this, push your yoke down and squeeze it in at the same time. Gives the clearance for it to go in. And when loading their pins, again, push the yoke down. Just get these 3 screws started before screwing them down. Lastly, bit of oil on the cylinder head seals. And make sure they're spaced out as well. And just fasten the two front bolts to hold it down. And make sure it does plunge before putting the head on. On Paslode, just use the same gas. Might be out of date, but it was working before. That's her ready to go. Now, does she work? That's her. Nice one. Started off as a simple service, but once you start getting into it, you find out why it was actually left on. But imagine she wasn't shooting the nails, she was firing, but the nails weren't coming out. So the reed strip was at fault, and the pin had actually unscrewed from the piston. So that's her, cleaned out, fixed up, ready to go. Last wee thing is just this bar for the front. Just replace that as well. Of them lying about second hand, so we'll just stick that on for nothing. That's her. Thanks for watching, folks. If there's any questions on a Paslode gun, give me a question in the comment section below, and if I get a chance to answer it, I will do. Cheers. Give us a wee like and a follow if you're liking the videos, and a wee subscribe there too. Cheers.